Hi, this is teacher Jennifer Gallardi from OTAN. I'm a subject matter expert in the field of technology and citizenship. I also teach citizenship at Milpitas Adult School in Milpitas, California. Welcome to the California Citizenship Preparation Support Channel sponsored by CASAS. Today, we're going to do a deep dive into citizenship prep. Let's get started. So this is how non-applicants see U.S. citizenship process. It's kind of mysterious. You don't know exactly what's going to happen, but people are sure it's going to be a beautiful process. However, this is how the applicants see the U.S. citizenship process. It's like, oh my God, not only can sharks swim, they can also fly, and who knows, maybe they're waiting for me on land. So there's a lot of fear and myths around the citizenship preparation process, and we as teachers need to be able to address these fears. So the first thing I would like to talk about is the N400 iceberg. The citizenship interview itself, 90% of the interview is going to be based off of this N400 application for naturalization. So the students really need to get a grip on what's in the application itself. Most students think that it's just simply the 100 questions and they memorize it. You have to realize what's above water and what's below water to successfully navigate through this ice field. The first place you go to is USCIS.gov, and it's really important for you to teach your students how to navigate this very early in their citizenship process. So doing a site, or excuse me, a website tour is going to be very important. Some of the things that they need to know about are some of the tools. So here we have one of the tools is that they can file their application online, their N400 application online, and they can also submit the proof such as their green card, tax forms, etc. for their case, and also they can pay their fees online. They can also manage their case online so they can check their case status, check the processing times in their area, and change their addresses online. So you won't get those 1 o'clock a.m. texts from your students like, oh my gosh, teacher, what's happening with my case? These are really valid concerns, and filing online will enable the students to be able to better track their information online. They can also access very important forms such as petitioning for alien uh, uh, relatives to join them. So please get to know USCIS.gov. Also on myuscis.gov, which is associated with USCIS.gov, you can start preparing for your naturalization interviews. So if you go there, you're not going to see information about green cards, you're just going to see stuff about the citizenship process. This is the public view. So you can go and practice the 100 questions or find a class for citizenship, or maybe you can find a doctor for the citizenship process. However, you can also create an account, a secured account on MyUSCIS. This is where you can apply for citizenship or update your address or renew your green card, etc. So you can submit your N400 form and the fees securely on MyUSCIS. It's going to be very helpful. It's going to be very user-friendly, and students can basically navigate this. Also, USCIS recently posted a short video on their YouTube channel showing people how to create a My USCIS account and apply for citizenship online. It's going to be much easier for them to keep track of their case by applying online. Also on USCIS.gov, if you go under citizenship, you can find resources to help teach your class. So you have USCIS civics lessons. So they have civics lessons related to that cover all the 100 questions. They have them for beginning level students, and then they have them for intermediate students. Here I'm doing a comparison between the beginning level uh, 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 handout about the Declaration of Independence versus the intermediate level. Also, they have a new series of N400 lesson plans. So they have things about marriage or family or dates or addresses, which is really appropriate for multi-level situations. One of their newest lesson plans is about the Oath of Allegiance. So here, the Oath of Allegiance is very difficult. It's associated with Part 12, questions 45 to 50, where the students is coming to the very end of their citizenship interview and they're asking if they promise to support the Constitution and talking about bearing arms, etc., etc. The questions that they answer there at the very last part of their interview is immediately parallels what they're going to promise during their Oath of Allegiance ceremony. So digging into this lesson plan will really be very, very helpful for your students. So please take a look at the lesson plans for civics and for the N400 at uscis.gov. Another really helpful resource is the USCIS YouTube channel, particularly their playlist about the 100 civics questions. So in this playlist, you see actual USCIS officers looking straight into the camera and asking the civics questions. It's really helpful to look at to watch these videos, see the USCIS workforce, and being able to hold a person's gaze as they're looking into the camera and asking and answering the questions. There's also the USCIS app for the civics test. So make sure when you're looking for the apps for your phone to practice civics, you look for this torch. Look for the torch, and you know it's going to be authentic. There's many apps out on the internet that's promising that they're going to help you with civics test or to check your case status. Please do not download those apps. A lot of times they are harvesting your personal information. So be safe, stick with the USCIS torch, and practice your citizenship. One more thing I would like to talk about is preparing the oath, which was uh, a joint venture between USCIS and the Smithsonian American History Museum. It's now available to be able to use on cell phones. So it's one video for every single one of the USCIS questions. There's quizzes online for people to practice their questions. They have transcripts which teachers can take and use it to create PDFs or handouts or close exercises, whatever the student needs to help them to stay alert and to study more deeply the questions and what is happening with the civics information. So between the USCIS lesson plans and preparing the oath, You don't even need a textbook. You have a lot of resources here to basically prepare you to greet your students and welcome them into citizenship. So let's talk a little bit more about the resources out there. We're going to talk about the bilingual lanes. A lot of students like to do English in their own native language. You have to be a little bit careful. You're going to need to learn how to uh, get more skills to get out into that ocean. So one of the best resources is Clinic or Catholic Legal Immigration Services. They have a collection of over 30 translations of the USCIS Civics questions in um, in many minority languages. So over 30 is really, really good. Also, the HIAS has preparation materials such as the translation of the M638, which was the quick civics lessons. So students can use these two resources to basically learn more about the civics questions and the background behind them. ILRC has the translations of the N400. Usually the N400, the version from 2016. Students cannot use these N400 translations to apply for citizenship, but it's always better and gives students some more confidence if they understand the document that they're going to be signing and going to be that's going to help them get their citizenship. So please share these resources and for the students so they can understand a little bit better what they are actually promising and what they're actually the information that they're giving over to the government. Another really great resource is Limited English Proficiency.gov. They have the I Speak cards. Not only do they have them in multiple languages, they have a separate PDF where they have minority languages of Mexico and Latin American. So they have those indigenous languages that students can use to basically help get better assistance if there's a legal problem. So now we're going to move on to learning how to breathe underwater. So we know about some resources for the N400. We know about some resources for the civics. And now we're going to look at some other sources beyond USCIS and the government to learn more about the citizenship process. So we're back at Clinic Legal. One of the best PDFs I've ever seen is Miguel's naturalization interview. So there's a lot of information about what actually happens during the immigration interview or the naturalization interview. There, he talks about some strategies that he uses when he doesn't quite understand what the examiner is asking. So this is a really good resource to share with your students very early in their citizenship process to basically be able to start conceptualizing what's going to happen and how they need to basically the skills that they're going to need to go into the citizenship interview to be successful. Also, Clinic Legal has guides and toolkits for the citizenship test. Citizenship test PDF is very interesting because it's almost like one civic lessons per page. So some people, especially in multi-level classrooms, they use it to supplement the beginning and intermediate material if they have really, really low students. So this is a very helpful resource. And also the issues and options for elders is going to be important, especially because the elders bring different gifts into the citizenship process. So there's a lot of information to tap with the elders. How do we bring this so they can present themselves in the very best possible way during their citizenship interview? One of the a great resource, a long-time resource is elcivics.com. This is really helpful for, especially if you're in ESL classrooms, possibly you're in a classroom where it's mixed status, and you want to start introducing low-level students to things related to civics, especially for citizenship. So this is a really good resource to start using this information. This is free and to be shared with your students. Whatever solution that we have to take a look at can't all be N400 and it can't all be the civics. It has to be a two-tank solution. You have to basically pair up N400 instruction with civics instruction. One of the applications that does that is Burlington English in their core and the English in America series. So this is available through subscription, and it basically gives students the basics to start preparing for the citizenship interview. Another one, which is free and available to the public, is Cambridge Ventures Arcade. I have used this with my low-level students, and I've used the level 1 and level 2 personal information section to start getting them ready for the N400 personal, like part 1 to part 11 type of questions. And then in here, when we get into citizenship, that's where they're going to start asking a lot of the civics questions, and they also have some N400 questions and rephrasings. So this is really good, again, to start getting the students ready for the process. Hello, Citizenship Classroom is a program, I believe, out of Portland. This is a really interesting website because you can basically choose the language with which you can navigate. So students who are not able to come to the classroom, I believe they can join group classes or connect up with tutors here to start preparing for citizenship. The gold standard of citizenship prep on the internet for free preparation is USA Learn Citizenship. They're now coming out very soon with an immigration integration program, but this is a really great way to start preparing for. They go thoroughly through the N400, lots of vocabulary, lots of video, lots of listening, lots of activities, and go very, very deeply into the appropriate vocabulary and information for civics. So it's really a great program. Kudos to USA Learns. And during the pandemic, I have been doing this is my own website, uscitizenpod.com. During the pandemic, uh, we switched our citizenship program to distance learning, which was no problem because I've been always maintaining this website since 2007, so it's able to get the students off the information. However, the model that we adopted was that we were going to be using USA Learns as our core program, so the students do not have a textbook. They're simply going through the material at USA Learns. And then once a week, I basically meet with them through Zoom and I do a practice interview with them and I talk to them about the material on USA Learns. But every day I am posting information about that is separated into two or three basic sections. So there's an N400 section where you see a video. I have a presentation. There's an interview script, and then I have supplemental scripts in there for the N400 sections, so they can get a little bit deeper into that section. Also, I have information in there about civics. I always put in videos from preparing the oath. I link that up to the appropriate USCIS lesson so they can they can look at those PDFs and study them. And I always have quizzes that I have written myself. Those two, the N400 and the Civics, is always paired up with the lessons on USA Learn. So this week we were taking a look at the very first part of Part 12, and we were taking a look at the civil rights movement in the 1950s and 60s. So there's information here that is going to match up with that and USA Learns, and I give the appropriate links. Also, I always have learn more. So, for instance, it's Women's History Month. Last month it was African American History Month. So I always have students who want to learn more, study more, make more connections, learn more vocabulary. They are very welcome to pursue that through these links under You Learn More. On the far right side, we have links. Again, this is going to be a link to Women's History Month resources. This is a link to the 30 section interviews of the N400, which is also right here that you can basically take a look at. So students can print those out and look at them themselves. And then I have the mix and match interviews that are 4 levels of 5 practice interviews that students can basically use to take a step up or closer to the N400, the main N400. So students can look at this every single day to get further information, further practice for citizenship. And then always I have information there from VOA News. So this is lesson 31. I've prepared 75 of these lessons, so the students can practice a little bit every day to basically get ready for their citizenship exam. ProLiteracy is now supporting Voxy NGen Citizenship, which is a online course of 60 mini lessons divided into 4 major sections. It helps people learn more about citizenship, particularly more the legal aspect, to prepare students to go into more civic engagement. So this is a really good class, particularly for higher level students, for teachers who are really new to citizenship, and for volunteers who will come into your classroom and help prepare students for citizenship. So please take a look at the Voxy NGen Citizenship. Contact your Pro Literacy or New Readers Press rep and take a look at this program. Very worth it. So you've learned how to breathe underwater. You understand the N400 and the Civics material. Now you're going to gear up and explore more about citizenship on your own. One of the most important things that you can do as somebody who is preparing for the citizenship interview is to start following USCIS on social media. They have uh, accounts in English and Spanish on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, And so it's really interesting to see the pictures from the oath ceremonies or to hear about their news announcements or get the latest information about visas and wait times. So please start following USCIS on social media. Also, you can follow other government agencies, for instance, such as Customs and Border Patrol and ICE. It's really, really important to see the latest information that's coming out of the immigrant rights organizations and rapid response networks. And I ask my students always to follow their U.S. And state representatives. For instance, our representative Ro Khanna from San Jose Fremont area has just published a new book about digital dignity and the need to basically address to expand the information network to all people so all people can contribute to it. Very important to watch some of these hashtags, but my favorite hashtag is this one here, new US citizens. So it's great to see this, but take a look at these other hashtags to keep up on the latest information about citizenship, naturalization, and immigration. Another really important podcast, also it's sometimes it's on YouTube and it has a really great website as well, is 60-Second Civics Podcast. It digs deeper into civics and US history and always has a really great quiz or a question of the day. So take a look at 60-Second Civics Podcast, both on the podcast and on its website. You can find it also on Twitter and YouTube as well. iCivics was a project that was started by Sandra Day O'Connor and has since grown into a marvelous social studies program with lesson plans that are amazing for all levels. A lot of these lesson plans can be adopted for the adult education classroom, particularly if you're taking a look at some of the co-ops. So take a look at iCivics. I have used some of the games with my higher level students, particularly the one about getting legal aid and also the running for office. The reason why I share these games with my students is because there may be been in my class long, they might have advanced literacy, and they might have children that they want to basically start teaching about citizenship and civics as well. So I share iCivics with those particular students. I ask them to play the game and then explain the game or what happened to the game to the class at large. So take a look at iCivics and see if you can work it into your curriculum. I'm now going to talk a little bit about legal services and other guides related to immigration. So one of the things that you really need to prepare as a teacher is a page where people can access immigration legal services in their local area. A good place to start is take a look at the resources on New American Campaign, and they will tell you about the major uh, legal services in your area. In our area in San Jose, we really depend on IRC, Rescue IRC, and also Catholic Charities and Siren and CAIR for to basically service our people down in the South Bay. Another service that I'm very familiar with is BPSOS that really helps the Vietnamese community. So having a piece of paper ready to go to give to your students where they can find good, trusted help is going to be very helpful for that student. Of course, course, going to the Department of Justice, the Executive's Office of Immigration Review, they maintain a list of pro bono legal services. So you go to the state in question, for instance, California, and they provide an updated list that's updated maybe every other month and it's organized by county where they have approved legal pro bono services that can help your students navigate the immigration process. Now we're going to get into some of the lifeguard parts. ConsumerFTC.gov produces a series of very fine photonovellas in English and in Spanish that talk about immigration fraud, and other consumer problems. They also provide a website that basically that people can file a complaint in their native language. So take a look at these free no, photonovellas and learn more about notario scams and other scams as well. Farm Worker Justice Photonovellas has a really good wealth uh, of information not only on immigration and the H-2A, H-2B system, but they also have things about COVID, sexual harassment, skin cancer, et cetera, that is can these are photonovellas that can be downloaded and to be shared. Also, they have it not only in English and Spanish, but they also have it in MEM and Mixtic. So please take a look at these photonovellas and all the other resources that Farm Worker Justice has available for our people. Informed Immigrant Know Your Rights guides are also it's a clearinghouse of or gathering together of all these different immigrant rights guides that are very helpful for your students. In Silicon Valley, we had a person who basically was started very much like I did with somebody who saw a need, started gathering together information resources related to the immigrant community and did it free of charge. So this place tells people where to find classes, where to get legal aid, anything that the immigrant community could possibly need. So in the Silicon Valley, San Jose area, we have immigrant info, but in other communities, they have similar type of situations. Identify these resources so you can have them at your fingertips when your students come and ask you for help. So, one of the hard things about citizenship class is people are away for their families a couple nights a week. So it's really important to include your kids in some family fun related to some of your citizenship activities. One of the ways that you can do it is Get Epic, which is a digital library for kids. And here you can basically quote unquote borrow online books for kids. And some teachers have gone ahead, I've gone ahead to organize things civic in topics or in groups that are related to the N400 and to the civics questions. So uh, I know that librarians have also done this as well at the various libraries. So go use your digital library with Get Epic, or your own library might have access to online resources that you can use to share with your kids. So if you learned about geography this evening, come home, try to find some books and appropriate resources to share with your own children. make this fun and basically share the love of America with the kids. One of the things I love to do and that the way I like to relax is I like to do jigsaw puzzles online or out of the box. So I usually use the box puzzles, but some people like to do it online. So this is one puzzle that I did from Peter Mack's Statue of Liberty. So doing puzzles and getting kids to talk about what they're seeing and what they're sharing and learning is really a lot of fun. So jigsaw puzzles are good, coloring pages are good, anything that's bright and colorful and engages their interest, and something that's tactile will be good for the whole family as they go through this process. Also, visiting a national park is really good. Now that COVID is lifting, it's time to get out there and explore nature. So, um, MPS.gov, nationalparkservices.gov has not only physical tours that you can take, but they also have online tours that you can take. So please take a look at this and get out there, explore a national park, whether it's in person or online, you will be that much happier. I want to talk about a couple more video resources, getting us closer and closer to that USCIS citizenship interview. We have, of course, USCIS.gov on YouTube, and here is President Biden's welcoming message that they play during the naturalization interview process or interview ceremony. We have ESSA Group on YouTube, so they have some great videos in here about citizenship preparation and practice interviews. Really good vocabulary material. We have a great teacher out of Pittsburgh Literacy that is helping prepare their students for citizenship. Please take a look at it. Excellent, excellent. This is my own website on YouTube, and I just realized I have a couple teachers here from Gonzales Adult Education, BPS Adult Education. That's me in my own classroom, and again from Gonzales, we were at a TDLS a conference for with OTAN or with CASAS. And so this is where we get together and we do practice interviews for our students, basically to model how to negotiate some problems during the interview. It's a lot of fun and we learn from each other so much. So it's a really a lot of good, we really have a good time. VOA News has a really, not only a really good website to learn about the news, but they also have a really good video channel on YouTube about the day's news. And so does VOA Learning English on YouTube. Particularly their playlists about American presidents is really, really helpful. 1 minute for each one of the presidents. VOA also has there's a listen and read along, which I think is independent from VOA, but they take material from VOA and they basically have the text and they highlight the words as the speaker is going. So that's been very helpful for our students reading fluency. So again, also they have, for instance, they have USCIS citizenship prep material. They have US history, lots of really rich material at this website. Listen and read along. White House has whitehouse.gov and state.gov and Department of Interior.gov and transportation. They all have really nice channels on YouTube, particularly state.gov and Department of Interior tries to do weekly recaps in like 4 minutes to show what they've done during the week. And it's really great to see different parts of America being highlighted. One of the place where they gathered this together is the website shareamerica.gov, which is basically material similar to VOA because they come from the same parent organization, but they're talking about sharing the best parts of America, the holidays, the culture, some of our problems in the United States, some of the stories of recent immigrants. So please take a look at Share America. This is something that was is basically being restarted again and it's coming back much stronger and really a good classroom resource. So please take a look at shareamerica.gov. This is not necessarily on YouTube, but it is a great video series and a great video resource. It's We Speak NYC. It was a television series developed by the Immigration Office at New York City in 2008, and then they did a new series in 2018. And so they are talking about different aspects not particularly of citizenship, but a civic life. How do we be good citizens in our own community? So they're talking about workers' rights, domestic violence, health care, making choices about education. So please, 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 I would say stop what you're doing, take a look at this series, and share this with your students. Even though it's geared towards lower level literacy. The the topics that they're dealing with are so powerful that up and down the literacy or your English curriculum or your literacy curriculum, there everybody's going to find something in these stories. So now we're getting closer to the mock interviews, and again, we're getting closer to that citizenship interview. I think one of the most powerful things that we can do for students is give them a test or give them an assessment. So, of course, we have the CASAS Life Work Reading and Listening series. Of course, we need pre and post tests, but those are in support of our citizenship assessments particularly the speaking assessment. So we're doing a mock interview based on the N400, pre 2014. But it's really interesting because you're using colloquial language there. There's interruptions. They ask for definitions. So you're practicing a citizenship interview in a very, very safe place. And you're getting immediate feedback about are you ready for going in for that citizenship interview? So take a look at the CIT, get the training, and start administering this to your students. They also have a listening test where you have the civics answers in front of you and you're listening to the civics questions. So again, very interesting. And I really appreciate the COSIX Civics Co-ops 40, which is basically you're going through a mock interview, but also there's things related to immigration um, integration with COAPS 19 and also the census 2020 because just because census 2020 is over doesn't mean that the impact is over. We still have to take a look at the fight over gerrymandering, the fight for resources in our communities, and we have the American Community Survey that comes out every so often. So taking a look at that co-ops, the census co-ops is still going to be important and still should inform our curriculum. A very, very, very old series, about 60 videos, is from the Community College or the City College of San Francisco, talking about best, okay, and worst citizenship interview strategies. So it's kind of humorous and serious at the same time, seeing how people are successful and how people can fail at their citizenship interviews. So taking a look at a couple of these during every citizenship class has been very, very helpful and generates a lot of discussion. So kudos to City College of San Francisco, one of the very early leaders of citizenship education. Minnesota Literacy, also kudos to Minnesota Literacy that does so much, particularly around lower levels literacy. And they have a really great pull-out kit for citizenship with 70 pages, which features a N400, but they have it so they have the questions, but they also have appropriate responses. And did the student answer appropriately or they didn't answer appropriately? This would be a really good way, or it would be really to administer this maybe before and also after you give the CASA CIT test or CASA CIT assessment. And then also do not do it all at once. Do it in sections so students can to have time to digest and readjust their strategies for going through the citizenship interview. So again, take a look at this from Minnesota Literacy. I have mix and match citizenship interviews because again, they were 5 levels of no, sorry, 4 levels of citizenship interviews, 5 different variations of those interviews. And again, I wanted short practice interviews so students would have a chance to both practice and both maybe an upper level student and a lower level student can basically put on a more even footing. So again, this is a way to see information from different ways and get a lot of practice and build the classroom community. So take a look at this in English and in Spanish. So the citizenship interview itself is akin to basically shaking hands with the whale. That's what people feel like, but it is possible to shake your hands with a whale. So, a lot of students put a lot of prep into it. You want the students going in prepared, not scared. So, making sure that they practice everything. They don't leave things to the last second. They don't cram. They're relaxed. Maybe they've even gone to the field office and seen what happened. It's really, really going to be helpful. I have one of our teachers always suggest that we bring people bring things in a binder in the clear plastic folders so people are ready for with any document that the USCIS officer wants in there. So being prepared is going to help you to be that much more successful. So, a lot of times, if you can shake hands with a whale, you're probably going to get certified. So, you're now a U.S. citizen. It's going to be very exciting. Currently, there are some significant waits between the time that some people pass their interview and they take the oath, but still hang in there. Get that certificate. It's really congratulations, and make sure the students come back and share with the students what happened during their citizenship interview. And most importantly, now it's time for them to move on to civic engagement. So to take leadership roles within their schools and their children's schools and their communities. So preparing them how to basically not, okay, now you're a citizen, that's it, we have nothing more for you, but learning to basically cultivate those students so that they can be strong representatives for their students and give voice to the community is going to be really important. So thank you. That's it. Thank you so much. And I would like to thank OTAN for all the technical aid that they have given me. And I mostly would like to thank CASAS for this opportunity to speak to you today. Thank you so much. Thank you for following me on this deep dive for citizenship. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.